International Master William Paschall, real estate and baseball bat salesman extraordinaire. What is up, guys? We're here to play some instructive Blitz and Rapid chess. I'd like to thank Mr. Merle Dixon for a 1,000-bit donation. He hasn't made a 1,000-bit donation, but I know he will. Just 101 this time. But I'll thank him for his future 1,000-bit donation, which I know he'll reach this week. Dragon B took me out in the game yesterday in the simul. Guys, I have to say, last night was one of my worst nights post-simul. I could not sleep until 2:30 in the morning. I mean, I can't blame it 100% on it, but it seems like whenever I do a simul here, my brain is just like worrying and I can't go to sleep. And I just can't fall asleep for hours after the simul. Anyway, Dragon B was one of the winners. Simuls always do something to my mind, and I just can't, like, maybe really exciting tournament games would do the same thing, but somehow one game isn't the same. When you play a whole bunch of games, it really does something to my mind, and I can't wind down. I don't feel like anxiety or excited or really hyped up, but I think it just pushes my brain into this gear where I can't fall asleep easily after simul nights. But anyway, so it's Dragon B up first. We're taking challenges between 5+3 and 7+3. Russell Crowe. I'm gonna rustle me up some crow for dinner. There is a bird outside making a very strange noise, speaking of which. I'm gonna try to play as sharply as I can. I love to get revenge when I lose to someone. Dragon B. Feel the wrath. Dragon B said Catalans are good for him. Why did I decide to let him play the white side of the Catalan? Notice, very strange opening choice by me. I normally play King's Indian or some sort of Indian defense, and I played a flat-out Catalan. Maybe inspired by the fact that one of my students I'm working with since a long time likes to play the black side of the Catalan. We've gone over a lot of Catalan games, so I feel like, oh yeah, I can play the Catalan. Going old school repertoire here. What's up, Mill Skinner? Will I create a simul? No simuls, not today. This is Dragon B's new move he plays in every position. I've never seen it here. It's odd though, Dragon B, you know, you could consider playing it instead of c4. I've used this Romanician system with white a little bit, experimentally, and done okay with it. Romanician likes to play a4 sans c4. It's interesting. But anyway, I don't know. I mean, I feel like a5 should be a good answer because the b4 weakness. But again, like the Catalan game, I don't have this. Wow, super special guest here, Spinal Tap Chess. What's up, man? I threw out, this week I was cleaning out my house, and this is way before your time, but I found like a lot of old like New Jersey and Pennsylvania chess magazines from my childhood, basically. Throwing out tons of old stuff. All right, B3. What are we gonna do here? Spinal Tap from the PA area. Old New Jersey stuff from New Jersey originally. Old New Jersey chess magazines, stuff like that. Don't go back to any other channels. So interesting setup. E3. This is reasonable. Reasonable. I'll say it one more time. It's reasonable. But inflexible a little bit for white. How is he going to do that King's Indian attack style break on the queen side? I play a kind of classical King's Indian formation, E4, 92. Then I have a problem. I can't keep it supported fast enough. E4, 92. It's falling too fast. Can I play C6 without incident? Now this is where this bishop A3 thing might start to become a problem. See, my knight on d7 versus a6. On a6, I could just plug the knight into b4, something like that. d7 is slightly less flexible. There it is. Bishop a3. So e4, can I support that pawn enough to keep it protected? It doesn't look like it. So e4 knight d2 once again looks good for white. My d6 is hanging. My options are limited. I guess I can take. If he takes with the knight, I get a good outpost at c5. Taking with the knight is like less risky. The more pawn moves you make, the more you like create weaknesses in your position. Like this is. Some guy accused me of always fianchetto and never pushing pawns. Wait, who are you talking about, Bob? Accused who? Me? Well, I used to be a tactical maniac like Spinal Tap Chess, but then I chilled out, got really old. Bishop f8, I mean, worst case scenario here, but I don't really want to do that. My initial plan was to play d5. This is a good setup for white. Very solid. I always play the same style. I have many styles, Bob. Alright, whatever. I'm impressed by Dragon B. 1621. He must have bought an opening book or something. He's playing this very systematically, this a4 queenside Catalan. He did that a4 against me yesterday in the Catalan very early too. I don't know what that was. Preempting my fianchetto. Actually, I had a decent game there. The problem here is that it's like really symmetrical and boring. What's new, Spinal Tap? Spinal Tap was probably like one of the first people who I friended here on lichess 4 years ago, whenever I started playing here. He's been here forever. I played him when he was practically still a kid. All right. Before he was international master, Spinal Tap Chess. Let's go. D5, very boring position. ED5. That's what they told me, Bob. I just believe what people tell me. He underrepresents himself. Mr. Coffee gave a tier 1 sub to Spinal Tap Chess. That's awesome. Maybe that's like one of our first ever IM subscribers. Maybe. We've got an IM subscriber. Rook C1 is such a good patient move. You gifted Esserman a sub to my stream? I didn't even know that. Did you do it on the stream? I don't remember that. It's weird. Man, Dragon B just became Mr. Fundamental. It's a weird move. This is almost always bad, what I'm doing. I'm just hoping this is one of those exceptional situations where the knight is not bad on b6. truly almost always bad on this square. If I can induce c5, change the structure. I'll almost never play this move on principle. I mean, it does open my bishop temporarily. I wanted to play knight e4, but I realized he could just take on d5. Okay, guys, I'm not warmed up yet. I've been showing my house to a potential buyer today and just praying that this gentleman will buy my house. If he buys my house, I don't have to pay tens of thousands of dollars to a real estate agent. Sell your own house and save money. All right. Knight on bd5. No chess today. Dem si Huldigen. That is very easy to say for me. Mr. Coffee, thanks for being our moderator. What's up, Arsenal fan? Knight f8 was another option. Knight e6 in future. That is a standard maneuver. So if I had played that, let's say, instead of knight b6. No, totally standard idea. With knight f8, it puts less pressure on his position. And honestly, I thought I'm slightly worse there in that instance. I'm starting to feel a little bit more comfortable than I was. Still think Dragon B is okay here. Very fundamental chess being played by Dragon B. Wonder if trading rooks is a bad thing. He's more active than I am here. By a small margin. Now you can make an argument that black is better structurally. This is a weak point. This is a weak point. Not so easy to identify weak points in black structure A5. My estimated home value is exaggerated, but thanks, Bob. It's not in. Thanks for sharing, Bob. It's not in ideal condition. Okay, bishop f8. Dude, normally when you sell something as is, you probably lose 10, possibly as much as 15% off of value. But we'll see. I'm a man of many trades. Baseball bat salesman. That's my favorite. Okay, Dragon B just fell apart. He just lost the exchange for nothing. Now he's toast. He is toast. You ever tried Efesh beer? How do you pronounce that? In Massachusetts, that'll buy you a grass hut. If I bought a house in like Alabama, I could probably buy like a mansion. All right, what happened here? He just fell apart. I like his position. Let's see after knight b6. How does the engine evaluate this? So it liked my move. Wow. Knight b6 is top move according to Stockfish. God, I feel good about that. It's so against my principles to play knight b6. I just lecture and lecture about how this is almost always bad to play knight b6. But the point was he has no good way to maintain attention. Like queen d3 runs headlong into bishop f5. His best was to play literally c5 and then force me back and play the structure where he's a little bit like messed up on the queen side. He doesn't have b4, b5. Dragon B, thank you for the donation. The rook move was bad. I mean, you obviously blundered, you know, what, like rook c5, but you're slightly worse already. I think when you played rook e1, you know, you're already like slightly worse here. Actually, the engine likes that move, surprisingly. Okay, so rook e1 is alright. Rook e1 check, queen e1, bishop e6. Okay, rook c5 was just ridiculous. Dragon, thank you for the donation. Yeah, Bob. Sorry, Mr. Coffee. You're thinking about Connecticut, where every home is worth like millions of dollars, except for maybe like Bridgeport. It's funny how certain regions of the United States are totally different. Maybe like Virginia would be a good place to buy a house. Civilized, yet not exaggerated in the price of homes. Bob is up next, 7+3. The only thing, I went to Virginia and I was just like mobbed by mosquitoes the one time I went there. Left a bad impression on me. Virginia, where did I go? Virginia, like the coastal part of Virginia. Bob, what's up? Bob is playing his... He tricked me yesterday in the opening, by the way. Oregon. Let's play something classical, guys. Welcome everyone to my stream. Yeah, Connecticut. I'm in the Connecticut. Okay, knight f3. Try to buy a house like near Boston. Need like $1 million. E4, E5, knight f3, knight f6. The Petrov or Russian. We'll just play correctly here. I'm not gonna play like queen e7. Something crazy. Bob, you better not play queen e2, the Nefedov. Brother Nefedov hasn't been here for a while. I don't know what's up with him. You scared him away, Bob. You had that feud with Nefedov where you guys don't like each other. I don't even know why. Arsenal, do you think I should try and play safe chess? No, man. I think you did a good job playing safe chess against me yesterday. But I don't think that anybody should necessarily, especially at your stage, it's not like you're like a titled player and you're playing in professional tournaments. I mean, I think you should play what you feel comfortable with, the style that you feel comfortable with. You don't have to play safe chess or risky chess, or, you know, you can play something where it's like in between. You know, you probably should consider what color you're playing, you know. This looks a bit passive, but secure. Grab that bishop. BBB. Maybe, Arsenal fan, you don't have to be quite as uncompromising as you thought all the time, every game. You could also just kind of decide based on your energy level. Some days maybe you play very aggressive, some days not as much. You know, you can take it into consideration. Like in poker, I mean, and I think that strong chess players are capable of doing this, and strong poker players are capable of doing this. Obviously, it's advantageous to have more than one style. But that's kind of an advanced concept that most people, you know, can't even get like one style good, you know, one good style right. But it's probably ideal to have more than one style, depending on, you know, the situation, let's say. For me, I'm very flexible. I actually have more than one style. I try to play mostly my correct, safe style here on the stream because I'm focusing on being instructive. And I want to set a good example, not teach people to play like maniacs, and I think that you should lay down a fundamental style first. But I'm capable of playing really wildly too when I want to. And I used to, I think when I was younger, play a lot more riskfully than I do now. But it just sometimes comes over me during the course of a game. I like to let the position come to me, you know, let the position sort of dictate how the game will play. I mean, look at Bronstein. He's a great example of someone who I think one day, you know, he would play like really solid, and the next day, the next game, even later that day, he would play like a maniacal, crazy, creative game. Just kind of go with the flow a little bit. Let the game dictate a little bit to some degree the course of play. You're the closest to a brat on stream. Absolutely, one of them. You're more salty than anyone else, I think. Just needs to soon Phil Hellmuth. I don't know. That's where the conversation. Actually, I never met Phil. I never played in the same tournament with him or something. But there's nothing lost there. Yeah, he's immature and childish and spoiled. All right, what are we gonna do here? I have the Dusty Schmidt book that says "Never Listen to Phil Hellmuth." That's the title. Not a great poker book, but yeah, a few good insights. I'm sure that Phil had to have like approved that title. Anyway, you think that players like Tal Nesmedinov played it safe till a point? Yeah, but I mean, both these players, Tal and Nesmedinov, were like Soviet-trained players. I mean, they had really strong underlying, solid positional games. And I think the thing that really, for me, the most interesting thing about Nesmedinov was his opening repertoire, which was actually not that conducive to his style in a way. Okay, he played the King's Indian, and some sharp games with e4, but he also played stuff like the Queen's Gambit Declined, and the Rossalimo with white, that I think weren't really that conducive. E4, E5 in general. Kyrgyz was like that too. You know, a player who I think would have done well with something more dynamic. Okay, Queen C2. Very solid here. Displayed by Mr. Bob. I like how fundamentally Bob plays these days. Bob is learning from the stream. Bob is adhering to principles. I'm not sure, Bob, you were so principled when you started out on the stream. Guys, welcome to the stream. Don't forget to support the stream. Subscribe, tier 2. We dropped off in subscriptions a little bit. I know I missed most of 2 weeks ago. So you can subscribe tier 2, tier 3. Don't be afraid. Guys, also check out the eBay. I'm trying to sell my life's accumulation of stuff. Rook E3. It's awkward. I'm not afraid to play g5. This is advanced understanding of pawn structure chess. Though I am weakening my position to some degree. I'm not going to pretend. It might come back to haunt me. Can't just blindly never be able to play g5. So Arsenal says it underpins the weakness of the knight, or the awkwardness of e7. He's just trying to brute force double on the file. I like the fact that I have a bishop pair here and you don't. It is hard to win when you have this position like this where it's a symmetrical structure, though. My knight is kind of bad. Underpinning was called by Bob. No, it was Arsenal, sorry. G5, bishop g6, you like that? I want to make my bishop great again. Miss Acerbate, he always appreciates my anti-Trump jokes. Definitely instructive. Thank you. But look at Bob's position. I mean, he has no weaknesses. B2. Where can I attack? We like the bishop pair here. And I like my chances, but it's a small advantage. This is how you got. Oh, we could do knight b6 again. Mirror image. It's a mirror image game. Not really good here though, because of bishop c7. Pepelu rating with a party of 16. Delayed reaction. I'm terrified of this position, actually. I was kind of scared, so that's why I couldn't greet Pepelu. We needed that raid, Pepelu. Thank you, sir. There's a lot of competition out there. A lot of people watching this boring Sinkfield Cup or whatever it is. The Billionaire Chess Open. But I think the real chess is more approachable. You felt a disturbance in the force? I needed the raid. What's the sinking field? I don't know. He's trying to make chess great again, I guess. Chess is already great. Alright. Do I want to trade rooks here? I thought Bob missed an opportunity to play pawn takes pawn, and rook c1 with invasion on the 7th. This actually looks problematic for black. Rook e3, an extremely awkward move. He gets out of the pin, but he has no forward plan when he plays that move. I mean, at the very minimum, I could play rook e8, trade the rooks, and be slightly better with the two bishops in the endgame. Torture him. There's also kingside expansion. Ah, now what to do? Immediately trading. Man, I don't know what to do. Hyper sophisticated maneuvering. I'm using Arsenal's maneuver from the last game. This is the plan. Exactly, Arsenal. I borrowed your plan from last game. It's great when I can like borrow one idea from one game to the next. Thank you for suggesting that. The two bishops looking good here. Okay. He's kind of locked down. It's a lockdown. Bishop A4 is an idea. White's almost paralyzed. Kind of hate to make an exchange at all. At all. Oh no. You did that. Self-immolation. Sorry, Slow Rolly Bob. Alright, next. No, he had knight back to d2. He had to play back to d2. I thought, but he has another move. Okay. My bad. Uh-oh. I did not foresee this, but it still looks good. Oh my god, I could have played 91 check. Oh, idiot. Alright. Stupid. I think we're still winning. Now it's going to be hard, though. I missed 91 check. Damn it. Thank God Bob played that. Bob, if you have King E3 and Knight D2, it looks like you're still surviving. I'm not sure now. It looks over. Bob's going for the win. He just resigned. No, man. We both blundered. Alright. I don't know. For some reason, I just didn't see 91 check. Actually, had Knight H4 check as well. I'm not awake yet. Okay. Yule Skinner's up next. Save a Dog. Aware, Tenacious. Guys, I am taking subscribers first, so it'll be Arsenal fan. Yeah, I mean, I'm just not awake. I wrote it down as like 0-1 too early. You know, I thought the game was over and I just stopped paying attention. Classic mistake. Fuchsia is here. What is up, Fuchsia? What are you drinking tonight? Martini? What sort of martini is it? Or is it wine? Do we have Riesling? Seriously. I think that she's got some Elizabeth Bathory blood. Possible. Malt coffee. Do you remember malted milk balls? Man, that just was a blast from the past. Candy that was popular in the 70s. Okay, E3, C5. What do we got here? I don't know what made me play this. I misspelled my name on purpose. Oh yeah, Paschall. Isn't that though? It's a reference to Zibbet. Tron Gabrielson. who apparently missays my name too. Hey, it's trendy. It's cool. All right. It's a Nimzo. Paschall. It's all related. Told you, we're from Normandy. We took over Arsenal fans, people. 1,000 years ago. We invaded Arsenal fan 900 years ago or whatever. C4, E6. It's just the normal Nimzo, right? Let's just play it. E3 Nimzo is C5. So what do we play? Like a Hubner variation somehow with colors reversed? He's threatening to play a knight E2. This would be cool, like a reversed Rubinstein. I don't think I've ever had this. They repaid the favor in 1944. What are you talking about? 1066 is Hastings, of course. I've been there, played several times. That's the joke. No, I mean my family like probably comes from like Normandy. Originally. Knight F6. Anyway, the Paschall side. Ironically, my dad was in the invasion of Normandy, Bob, which is really kind of funny. He was 17 years old. For the Americans. So I've got it all covered. This is a flashpoint for my family. Various invasions to and from Normandy. Castles, knight f6. What are we doing? We're playing the Nimzo. Okay, so now it's like a main line. We could play the Hubner now. The reverse Hubner. That's weird. I don't even play the Hubner, but it's got to be good with an extra move. I guess it's technically not a Hubner unless he plays and like I double his pawns on c6. Maybe d3 is too early. It's weird trying to play this Nimzo with an extra move. Very impressive to have a D-Day lander as a parent. It's unusual. Most of my friends like all had parents who were like in Korea or Vietnam or something. My dad was really young when he went, and he was really old when I was born, so a lot of people don't believe me. There's very few of them left. There was a story about a guy who went back. He's like 93 and he parachuted at the anniversary of D-Day, or you know, the invasion of Normandy this year. Pretty cool though to be like 90 jumping out of a plane. Most of my parents are dead. Most of them. Myself responsible for invasion of Vietnamese villages. Me myself. I'm not that old, Bob. I was just being born when the Vietnam War happened. Oh no, it was like wait, a little bit later. Sorry, I forgot I'm 39. You almost tricked me there. Okay, what are we doing now? It's a little early to play knight c3 in a Hubner. I don't know, you're gonna get like Juicebox Wizard started. He's not here today. So we're trying to play the Hubner with a move in hand. Putting the knight on c3. Sometimes controversial. Actually, it's worse when your queen's on e7 and the knight has to go to like d1. Anyway, we're talking about all kinds of random stuff. Thank you to Pepe Lou for for subscribing. Yeah, because he did. And also thanks to Pepe Lou for rating. What war was not controversial? Does anybody want to buy like 10 Confederate dollars? I have a $10 Confederate bill for sale. I think it's on eBay. The $50 Confederate money was far more valuable than the $10 one, though. Speaking of war, Rook B1, Rook B8. No one interested in Confederate money. I'm known for my Confederate flag, my love of Confederate flags. So what do you do in this kind of position anyway? Knight E1? No, I don't know where it came from. Someone picked it up along the way, you know. They probably took some Confederate prisoner. My family took some Confederate prisoner and shook him down for his $10 bill. I don't know how we got it. I don't have any really direct family south of like Baltimore or Annapolis, Maryland. But I guess that's over the Mason-Dixon line. 91 E5. Oftentimes in the Huebner, the knight will go to like H2. You know what I'm doing though, guys? I'm playing Mule Skinner in a closed position. His weakness is open positions. So it's kind of like playing to his strength here. No, I mean, Apocalypse Now is probably like my favorite movie of all time. One of them, anyway. I hate like committing to favorites when people ask me, what's your favorite? It's one of my favorites. I never liked Full Metal Jacket as much either. But I like the fact that Apocalypse Now is based on like a classic, you know, novel and literature. It's not just like a movie made for Hollywood or something. I mean, it is, but it's also influenced by the Conrad novel, which makes it kind of cooler. Okay, so thought-provoking. H3, H6. Heart of Darkness. I think it's a pretty essential literary inclusion. Joseph Conrad. Should we just break? Shall we break? That was the plan, not to let in knight G4. Skinner of Mules. No, I can't take with the bishop, unfortunately, without dropping my the b2 pawn, so... Knight's not bad. Black's bishops aren't bad either, you know? They're going to take up pretty good posts, so I'm not sure. That's kind of a passive-looking move, and I like to see passive moves. He's headed for E5. Maybe he wants to play F5, go crazy on the white squares. Forrest Gump. I just watched The Green Mile. I talked about that the other night. I'm so sad that Tom Hanks is like an old man now. It's so weird. Captain Sullenberger. Alright. What are we doing? We're just shooting the breeze while we play chess. It's fun. But I like the way the Mule Skinner is playing this. Again, we got Mule Skinner in a closed position. Not really ideal. I feel like he wants to play f5. He's thinking about those white squares. He wants to do it. Suddenly trying to goad him into it. He can win a pawn now, but I think the price is right. A lot of scary possibilities and dynamism for me if he goes the opposite color bishop route. But it's playable. He might be able to try to take his pawn kamikaze style. Bishop f4, rook b2. Yeah, it is a long game, right? 7+3. These games can last like 20 minutes. Originally, when I started streaming 4 years ago, I was playing like 15 zeros, I guess. Student body. Okay, Queen c7. Maybe knight h5. I'm just feeling it. Mule Skinner would appreciate this with white as well. You know, I'm thinking, he's sitting there thinking like, I wish I was white. I like to do closed positions with queen h4 and f4 breaks. He's sitting there and he's actually envious of my position. Secretly envious. g5 wins a piece. Oh no. I thought he had a decent move here. Knight h4 looked a little time consuming and gives up control of e5. Uber driver, good idea, you know, playing for knight f5. No, it was an idea, I mean, clearly, but it was just kind of slow. It might have been good. Knight h4 might have been good. Not quite as brutal as queen h4. I discuss movies and talk to the audience about literature all the while. Is Caruana an interesting player? I mean, I don't think I really know Caruana as a player that well. When he was younger, I thought, okay, he's just basically really good tactically. But he's obviously become much more than that. You could say the same thing about Hikaru, you know? I don't think either of them is quite as good as Carlsen. Maybe never will be another Carlsen. So this 95 is best. We need to complete development. But I like the way that Mule Skinner's played. It's so correct and solid. Tough, man. Do I agree that Fischer is better than Carlsen? Yeah, I think it's kind of a pointless discussion. Mule Skinner yielded to temptation. And he now faces the shadow of death. But he was doing fine until g5. There's the Lord's Prayer or whatever. I always start saying like the Lord's Prayer. I'm not that devout Christian, but there's that line in the Lord's Prayer like, thou shalt not... How is it? How does it go? Something about temptation. Be delivered from evil. He fell into temptation here with g5. We all feel temptation in our lives. I could do like a... I got a great idea, Bob. I'll move to the south. I'll do a fake, you know, southern accent and become like a chess preacher. All right. Start my own ministry. The chess ministry. We shall not be led into temptation, but deliver us from evil. My son, you have sinned and fallen into temptation with g5. But it's amazing how deadly this is. Like queen takes. I thought he would play pawn takes. It's still just as bad. Like, okay, queen g5 check. I was just going to play bishop f4, which would have been a blunder because he has like lateral defense here. This is nice though. Like queen g5 check. And if bishop g7, bishop takes f4. Now wait. He can go somewhere like here. And now bishop e5. f6, rook f6. Like, I don't know. It's just too dangerous for black. No, I think he was doing great. Like, look at his position. He equalized the game. And if you break the queen side here, after playing a great strategic game, he made one mistake. But honestly, he equalized. And he's got a5, a4. And I don't think I have an advantage. I'm going to have to be careful. You know, he doesn't make an example of me on the queen side with a5, a4. Great game up until that point. He will be delivered from evil. All right. The evil of g5. Save a Dog. What's up? Save a Dog. Arsenal fan. Who else is a subscriber? +1 for the peace style change comment. Whoa. Leave me not in sobriety. The British drinker's prayer. What do we call you? English? British? I'm always afraid to make like some politically incorrect statement. I don't know what to call people from the UK. Can I call people British anymore? Is that wrong? I'm afraid. It used to be the BCF, now it's the ECF. I'm kind of like, wait. Maybe it's politically incorrect. Well, I mean, okay, we can call him English if he lives in England, but if he like lived in Scotland, we'd call him Scottish. But could we call him British? UKers. So what am I playing here? A reverse Grufeld. I'm sorry that I did this, actually, talking too much, and now I'm forced to play an opening that I kind of like with white. Alright, whatever. This is risky and I don't really know it. I'm playing a tempo down. Playing a tempo down, rook b1, Grufeld. Rook b8 is rare. Anand prefers like bishop e6, I think, here. He has a number of games. So this is like a really literal reverse line of the Grunfeld. Made into a Tarish defense. Yeah. I mean, that's really technically the classical treatment for black Uber driver. You do e6 here, you know, and then white can choose either a Catalan or Tarash. Tarash. Wow, the greed. Another mortal sin. It reminds me now, we can compare it to Jonathan Rowson's. I never got that book, but Jonathan, who's a philosophy guy, and Scottish, So he's British. John's book, The 7 Deadly Chess Sins or whatever. This has got to be in there, right? Does anybody have that book or have seen it? Greed, you know, his gluttony or whatever has got to be in there. This is gluttony. This is a like main line with colors reversed. Greedy variation. There was once this game I remember in Chess Informant, which was cool, but it was colors reversed again, where I'd be white with like an extra move. This is funny. This position I actually had with colors reversed. A guy at the Boylston Chess Club, who was like 2000, played the same idea. I mean, I've got nothing better than to take this pawn, get my pawn, save this dog. Grunfeld endgame. Have I seen the new peace theme? Haven't seen much, man. I'm kind of far behind the learning curve. But I do know that lichess has audio chat now, which is cool. Classic position. Now, I'm off of Jonathan Rowson talking about the 7 Deadly Chess Sins, and I'm onto the John Watson thing. Watson talks about John Watson's chess strategy. I don't know what it's called, his book on chess strategy. He actually talks about this whole like concept, which is very important, about whether the queenside majority is stronger or the central majority. And that's like a topic in the Grunfeld, right? Is my majority of pawns here stronger versus that? Or is the fact that he has a queenside majority versus my outside A pawn? You know, which of these majorities is stronger here? I think that black is better in this position. I have better king, and I have better development. And I think I have, you know, fairly quick ability to create a pass pawn down the middle. Tempted to play king e6, but I think that ought to wait. Please wait. Maybe I should just grab the file first. Please grab file. Counterintuitive move, because it looks like my rook's already developed. I'm going to wait and see what he does now. I can hit him with rook on the 7th. That's devastating. Black pawns are further up the board. Something to that. The D1. I have more space with those pawns. But anyway, if you want to like study chess strategy, John Watson's book, I don't know what it's called, Modern Chess Strategy or something general like that, does cover this concept as far as I know. Oh my god, F4. This rook E1 move might not be bad. It might not be bad. He's playing E3. Preach it. I'm going to start a religion. We'll have like groupies. It'll be like a cult. The chess cult. Classic Rubinstein style endgame. Black is better, but how much better? Better enough? Or just a little better? It's also a controversial move because it blocks my rook. This keeps him kind of tied up. And he really doesn't like that menacing bishop on d4. We got a better king for the endgame. Lovely counterplay. b4. b4 is controversial. Interesting idea from Arsenal fan, b4. It might not work, but it might. I mean, if I take it, you take on d4, I take on d4, you take on d4, I play bishop c3, skewering your rooks. This looks pretty bad for white. He's starting to creak. Creaking. Secrets of Modern Chess Strategy. Chess teacher Tom. This discussion is important about queenside majority versus central majority in the middle game. The argument is basically that in the middle game, normally it's kind of like the central majority is stronger, and Watson, I guess, talks about how maybe in endgames, the queenside majority gets stronger. But this is like an endgame, and that queenside majority never materialized at all. I mean, it's kind of a typical Grunfeld. You're kind of left wondering, like, what did I do wrong, you know? Basically over. It's a really, really bad situation, because he's cut off on the 7th rank. It's like playing the Dutch. So he's a pawn down, which wouldn't be that bad. But in addition, having the king cut off on the 7th. There's like no way he should survive this. Unless my technique is catastrophic. How many games have lost to the Queen's Gambit accepted as black? White gets in d5, murders me in the middle game. Yeah, like a bishop on d5 that's just like cemented there or something. Elegant. Alright, so b5. What if I just play like f6? h5 is interesting. h5, b5, f6. b6 takes check, king f5. What's the strongest move here? If I just attack his pawn with like rook a3, he goes up with king f2. Rook e2, rook b3. And then like king d5. He can start marauding. Oh, this move I didn't see. Ooh. Wow, okay. I don't think it's gonna save him. Just calmly go back here. Convert to the 4 versus 2. Easily winning. Just create 2 connected pass pawns. I think there maybe he should have played h4. It's a little more stubborn. That's too many. Okay, thank you for the game. But instructive, and that's our goal, to play instructive games. I'm interested in the opening, by the way. You know, I know Rook B8 isn't played. There's one game by Ivan Ivanisevic, if I recall, where Ivan played this. This game here, Webersberger versus the Serbian GM. There's a Navarra game I was kind of unaware of, though, 2017. So that's a good sign. It's also been played there. I've played this position with white, and I think I've played Bishop G5, but I was not 100% successful either. Wow, Nakamura Anand. So Anand has gotten to this position as well. That's weird, because he usually plays Bishop E6. That's a newish game. Anand didn't play D4, so Anand transposed like kind of back into his normal setup here with Bishop E6. It looks like D4. Wow, nobody took the pawn, they did. Okay, so in the game, this is like Stoll Korchnoi, colors reversed. Black has very strong attacking chances over here. When I played this variation a couple times with colors reversed, it was very unpleasant for my opponent. But I mean, an extra tempo might... The knight a4 is normal, though. In the... It's just the only way to play for anything, really. Let's see what the engine says. Like, the computer says that knight a4 is the only move. But I mean, maybe Leela or, you know, some sort of super engine would just say, like, this is bad for white or something. I mean, I wouldn't enjoy playing white in this position, but it's still your pawn up. It's not that easy to checkmate him if you scientifically analyze this position. Okay, guys, subscribers first. Arsenal fans up next. Good try to save a dog. All right, I'm feeling warmed up now. We've got an hour and 15 minutes left in the stream, so plenty of time. Plenty of time. Guys, thanks for joining my stream. We try to be instructive. There's enough people streaming about some Grandmaster games and stuff. But I try to apply the chess principles in action here. Something a little bit different than talking about some super Grandmaster tournaments. E4, C5, Knight F3, G6. I love to play the black side of the hyper accelerated dragon. The Marazzi is a pain. This could become a Marazzi in certain instances. It's not forced, though. There are ways I can avoid or try to avoid the Marazzi here. Trying to think about what I want to play. I wonder if Knight F6, E5 is just bad for black, or is white overextending there? The St. Louis thing is a little bit overrated, I think. I don't really like the whole St. Louis thing. I don't really like this pretending that St. Louis is the chess capital of the United States. It's not true. Don't believe the hype. When, you know, I think when the future comes, when the apocalypse happens, St. Louis will no longer be the capital of chess. I think it's all kind of fake. I'm not going to St. Louis, man. I mean, I don't know. I'm just not going to St. Louis. St. Louis. Plus, I'm angry that the Bruins lost. That's really enough for me. Bishop E2. All right, he didn't even attempt to play D4. Well, I would think, like, you know, the capitals of chess in the United States would be New York, and of course, like, you know, probably New York, number one, if you had to pick a chess capital, the United States. Even though I never lived in New York, I you know, and I hate the Yankees, I'd still probably say New York. Who randomly picks some random city just because a billionaire lives there? It becomes the chess capital of the United States. I think it's kind of weird. But whatever. That's just my opinion. Philly, number 2. Yeah. Sadly not, Mr. Coffee. I have a lot of nostalgia for Philly and Boston. But why does there have to be a chess capital anyway? What is this? What is this chess capital thing about anyway? The truth is that there is no chess capital of the United States. It's just a made-up concept. Alright, but anyway. Knight takes d4 castles. Chess is chess, man. It's meant to be played everywhere. Mr. Coffee's biased because he lives in Pennsylvania. He's showing significant bias. Texas. Because it's the biggest state. You're talking about football, like American football? Rook c1. Yeah, no, the Mechanics Institute is great. And I mean, San Francisco should be, you know, cities where they have great chess clubs. New York, San Francisco. Boston used to have a really good chess club. I don't know how it is today. You always preferred Baltimore and DC tournaments? Yeah, I always liked the tournaments in that area. There was a chess center in Washington, D.C. too. Great place to take a nap downtown. Where's that, Uber driver? Uber driver has to watch out for the Google cars in San Francisco. They'll run him down. D7. I've never been to the Mechanics Chess Club. I've never been to San Francisco, sadly. The only place I played chess in California was in LA, and that was at the airport. Not very exciting. So, all right. This is like a little kid game I had in a rapid tournament in Budapest maybe 10 years ago. Circa 2000, no, more recently, I'm lying. It was probably around 2013 or 2014. Let's see how similar this game is to Game with Cocky Little Kid. The old Boylston Chess Club in Boston was great. It was an iconic chess club. I'm very sad, and I was very sad that they decided to move the chess club in Boston to outside of Boston. I think it was a travesty. All right, so Mr. Arsenal is just letting me take here on d5. So we're going to play good bishop, bad bishop, good cop, bad cop. He's got little f4 ideas, I think. Until you played g5, which was horrible. But what disturbs me most that no one mentioned Deer Hunter. We were talking about classic, like, modern war movies, and Deer Hunter wasn't mentioned. Sorry to disappoint you. So the bishop, the little bishop that could. When you play the black side of the Razzi, be very careful not to let that white square bishop weasel its way in, like into c6 or something like that, because then all kinds of nasty stuff starts happening. Don't let him weasel his way in there. Very important stuff. Mighty Knights. But Uber Driver, you know the last place that the chess club in Boston was at the YWCA, right? Near Stewart Street. That wasn't so bad. I don't know what the story was there. I guess they were converting the space. I mean, it's sad that somebody didn't, you know, someone didn't find a, we're talking about the chess club in Boston, the former chess club in Boston. Someone didn't find a sponsor to kind of buy a, let's say, buy a space for the chess club there. Classic position. Arsenal fan. Hanging tough. If you can get an A4, get it in. Actually, I might have messed up, and maybe I should have gone with the other rook to C8. I would have been very happy with the rook on the A file now. Harvard Square looks pretty gross. Well, I mean, you know, any kind of gritty outside chess place is pretty gross. That's the nature of the beast. You know, Washington Square Park isn't a lot of fun. Looks like I'm going to be fighting for a draw here. All right, c'est la vie. We're fighting for a draw against Master Karpov. Master Splinter. Pillsbury, born in Somerville, Massachusetts. Bob doesn't know enough chess history, Uber Driver. He needs a schooling. But, he died of syphilis, I think, Bob. You could have a lot in common. Rook C2. Rook B6, Rook E2. Rook B7, Rook A2. Hanging on. Skin of our teeth. I'm not sure I like this anymore. Maybe that's not the best approach. I had another approach. Okay, here. Yeah. It's a bit awkward. Man, Arsenal's got all of his moves instantly, pre-planned. Just saying, you know. You wanna dance, you gotta pay the piper, Bob. Not trying to shame anyone. Just believe in Christian fundamentals. What are we doing here, seriously? Awkward. Another awkward moment. This is weird. Super weird, actually. Rook A2. Bishop C4. Rook A3, Bishop E5. That's very awkward. So Rook E2. The outside A pawn, extremely dangerous entity. Alright, whatever. He's playing like my friend says, wow, even h4 is like a brilliancy, by the way. Not h3, but h4. Triple exclam. This is one of the strongest games I've ever seen him play. He used a minute for the whole game. It's incredible. Maybe rook e6, finally a mistake. Wow. Played too fast. Man, he played a great game. And just like went crazy. Still. He offered a draw. So generous. He's gonna hold. All right. Man, Arsenal, you played a great game. Damn, dude, you're just totally winning in h4. The meager player, meager, is that a good word? Would play h3 here. But h4, man. h4. So the engine thinks I'm surviving here. Wow. I was scared I was lost, man. I was scared I was lost, seriously. It looks like I'm holding on. Damn. I wasn't sure what was going on, you know, after like pawn takes pawn, pawn takes pawn. I was even looking at rook a4. Sorry, this is the threat of rook a4, but he has king h2. I have to hang on by my fingernails here. Very nice game, Arsenal fan. Well played, dude. Okay, we're still playing subscribers. Uber driver. Uh-oh. All right. Uber driver's been driving. He drives, and be careful not to do like an Alexander Ivanov where you're like analyzing in your head and get hit by a tractor trailer. Make sure you keep your eyes open. Don't do that blindfold driving analysis while you're driving. It's just funny because if you know Alexander Ivanov and you've ever seen him like play chess at a tournament, he likes to analyze with his eyes closed a lot, and I guess he concentrates better that way. I could just see him having done that while he was driving, you know? Just really bad idea. So now we're playing in Marazzi with white. Mr. Coffee has an itchy trigger finger. That's the only game I ever forfeited, Mule Skinner, when I was late to an adjournment. Sadly. I was outraged. It was the Boylston Chess Club Championship, and I've never, ever, ever forfeited a game in my life. And I lived like a mile away from the chess club, and they could have just called me and said, hey, you know, dude, wake up or whatever. Where are you? You know, your clock's running. They just let my clock run, and I forfeited an adjourned position with no losing chances. Literally the only game I've ever forfeited in like 2,000 plus over the board games. Makes me really angry. I was appalled. No respect, you know. It's unfair to expect a wake-up call. Well, I mean, if it was like a normal tournament, of course, you would never ask such a thing. But when you're like a member of a chess club in good standing for 10 years, and you even ran for like an office in said chess club, and you've been an upstanding member for many, many years, and you happen to live like really close to the chess club, I think that exceptions should be made. All right, A5. I'm playing the white side of an opening I normally play with black more often. So I think I had this position with black against my friend Bokrosh Albert last year. Albert played like rook d1, which is not usual. You have stories about my first club, which is so strange you'll not believe them. Where is that, Mule Skinner? In Denmark? Club chess, very big in Europe. A4. Now I'm not sure what to do. This A4 early business. He wants to try to put the queen on A5. That bird has got to go. So I'm supposed to play like B4 here. I had a game with Gildardo Garcia, I remember. I should say Hildardo because he's Colombian. It's pronounced Hildardo. But Hildardo played something similar. We had a game, one of my few Marazzis with white, where he actually did the same thing. He allowed B4. And normally if you like get in B4, white should be better. But I've probably tried this with black. Speaking of Larsen, Mule Skinner is a big Larsen fan. He's Danish, and Larsen was one of the bigger protagonists for the Accelerated Dragon in his later years. I think that B6 and fall back to B7 is probably black's most logical choice here. The first single-digit CPL game I have played in about a year. And you picked me to play it against. Nice, thank you. I'm shamed by drawing a low-rated opponent. What can I do? No, I was close to lost. I was curious about the rook endgame though. I decided to play as actively as I could, and it looks like after h4, f5 just about is enough for me to hang on. So the standard variation for black is normally not to play a4, but knight d7. And then white has bishop e3 or bishop f2. Weedmaster prefers bishop f2, my friend, International Master Joe. But bishop e3 is more common. Knight d7, bishop e3, knight c5, rook fc1, queen b6. It's all theory. I know this, like, I've had games with both colors, but mostly with black. Black's goal here is to control the a1 square. Queen b8 is interesting. Having said that, I'm not quite sure what his plan is. Okay, that's a plan, right? If b5, maybe I get a little overextended. So here's the story. They said that it had to be up to the club. At last, they had to replay the game. My brother had to play the rematch in the house of the older guy. Finally lost the game. I think I missed part of the story. Oh, sorry. All right. So Mule Skinner, my brother, who was maybe 10, won the club tournament in last round. Then the only person who lost came home and analyzed the game and found out the game had been played with queen and king reversed. They said it had to be up to the club. At last, they had to replay the game. Wow. Like, U.S. Chess Federation rules would be, you just, after you play a certain amount of moves, from Mr. Coffee probably knows this rule, but I think after a certain amount of moves have been played, like, the position just has to be played out. Like, if you set it up wrong and you played it like that, then the game remains official, you know, even though you set it up wrong or illegally or whatever. I mean, I'm not sure what the FIDE rule is, if it's similar or not. Bishop f6, no. King h1 is a useful move here, universally, I guess. Am I threatening bishop takes f6, bishop takes f6, knight to d5? You could always play like bishop f6, ef6, and just have this kind of weird structure. Mr. Coffee is not only my moderator, he's a tournament director, which is cool. So we have someone to just answer all of our rule questions. Well, I always hated when I had to play in some kind of situation where I had to play in somebody's house. That's a common club championship sort of thing. It happened to me. It happened to me twice at this one chess club where I played in New Jersey. And it's odd that, probably the oddest thing about it was that like both games were against like the two strongest players in the club championship. And I had to go to their houses to play them, and I lost. I've always felt kind of weird, like playing an official game in somebody's house. I mean, I've done it like 2 times. The home field advantage should be automatic. But I told you the story, guys, how I played this one guy 10 games and we had 9 draws and I lost once. Bill Kelleher, Uber driver, knows who I'm talking about, and he's like a 2400 player. But then when we played at his house, like he lost both games. It was weird. It was the opposite effect. Because they weren't rated, you know. I think if it had been like rated, he would have beat me or not lost anyway. People are motivated by different stuff. So queen back to c7. I'm just stalling because I don't know what to do. Uber driver is very, very solid. And the Marazzi is a tough position to play. It's a spatial type of opening. I've got this itty-bitty advantage, but it's very precarious. Queen c7. Put that bishop back on e8. I could take on f6 and play knight d5. Why did I dismiss this? Oh, because he has... No, I'm hallucinating. Alright, so we'll do it. We'll do it. Keep it simple. He could also take with the pawn. It sure is a good knight there. He wants to play f5. I know this from the Rouser with g6. As long as he can't play f5, he should be slightly worse. He has a secondary plan, however, of playing bishop c6 and trading off my strong knight. Kill Bill. Kill the bishop. Stopping bishop g4, which was one of my key ideas. So enabling him to play f5. What if I sacked a pawn here? Sakaponda. Bob Sakaponda. That's his Indian name. I'll check with Elizabeth Warren if it's a legal name or not. I want to play this just for fun. We can sack a Ponda and just, we're fine. You know, nice structure, dude. Kill bishops. Not kill Bill. Possible pawn cube. What do I do? Just choosing moves at random now. Seemingly random. How's our overall position health? How many health points does this position have? Internet dropped? Not for me, hopefully. You know, I think he made a mistake, though. I'm not sure. Maybe not. He was concerned about his kingside, but I thought that bishop e6 instead of bishop g6. Challenging that. I'm sure that life wasn't so easy there either. Various possibilities for white. Good compensation. We have good strategic health. Nah, let's just take. Does give up the f5 square, but we should have some solid attacking chances. Wow. I might have underestimated this little ditty. What am I doing? Down a pawn with a great knight. Not really quite what I hoped for. I thought we'd get a little bit more. But it's all right. He's playing for mate, it looks like. Whoa. It's a great game by Black. Great defense. Could have won a pawn there. Wow. Hate you for that. Reminds me of a game I lost one time to International Master Jacques Jula. I guess it's just a draw. Where's he going? Yeah, that's sort of a swindle. Sorry, I feel kind of dirty winning that. Alright, not easy to beat Uber Driver. Who's up next? We got a rated challenge from Muras. I don't take rated challenges, so if he wants to play, just feel free to re-challenge me to 5+3. After Mr. Slowhand. I play anything between 5+3 and 7+3, casual. We should have enough time for these games, though. I think that Uber Driver defended too passively with the king there. Calculate a way to run the king over to the queen side. The B pawn is the best pawn for white in that sort of scenario. Farthest away, yet not an A pawn or not a rook pawn. That's the most difficult to defend against. Yeah, I've had a Roomba for a long time, Mule Skinner. What makes you bring up the robot vacuum cleaner? It's fun, like, put your children and pets on it and have it, like, ride around. That's the real reason for getting it. Felix Duffy walking into kind of an unusual variation here. Not good. This is a serious mistake, this so-called Marshall defense. I think if white plays e4, it's not that bad for black after knight f6, but knight f3... Even Mamedyarov has played g6, and one of our viewers, someone on sound, played that against me. It's not good for black, but it's kind of playable. And the other move is bishop f5 that Dr. Kopek played against me. Knight a5. It's surprising that doesn't lose a piece. Doesn't it lose a piece? Bishop d2. My eagle eye for tactics. Today I stood watching it, stuck between a chair and the sofa. Does it make you a bad person for not helping the robot? I don't know, but it sounds like something good for some sort of TV miniseries. What is that? Like Black Window or whatever? What is that TV series where it's always about something different? Black Mirror, yeah, that's it. Technology will come back and get you. We just want a piece. We're happy. We don't get greedy trying to take the e5 pawn. We're just going to castle and we're consolidating. I've been talking about this on occasion. Like, sometimes people... Muleskinner had a game, in fact, which he submitted 2 weeks ago, where I felt he didn't draw a distinction between a clear plan of either playing for mate or playing to win by material advantage. Just kind of decide on what you want to do. Having said that, winning this pawn... I mean, it is a central pawn. But, I mean, there's a likelihood I'm going to lose my e-pawn here. Likelihood of losing the e-pawn is there. Bishop e5, knight e5, queen e7, queen d4, actually. It's kind of good. But this is now just... I would say horrible for black. Clear piece down, no compensation. Game over. Black Mirror, I thought some of the episodes were good. I don't know about you guys, there's different seasons. I think I only looked at one, maybe two. The first season seemed good. I haven't seen it in a while. There was one where there were like these... I think it was that series. There was like robot dogs or something, which was really awesome. Robot dogs like took over the world or something. And they started to hunt people down. That was awesome. I come up with ideas so quickly you need 15 seconds to even understand what the idea is. I appreciate the compliment. Oh, looks like we're picking up some sort of thunderstorm here. The house is starting to creak. Hasn't rained here in a long time. Southeast Massachusetts. Robot dogs were awesome. That was my favorite episode. I think it was Black Mirror. Nobody knows that show? That episode? We need like Merle Dixon, apocalyptic robot dogs. This is... You know, I mean, if you take a player of Felix Duffy's level, he doesn't know the opening theory that well. Very important second move. When you play d5 here, in this case, or knight f6, it could start with knight f6 then d5 or d5 then knight f6. This is a fundamental position I think that's hard to play when you don't maintain your center. I think for people under 1800, under 1700, whatever, you should play openings where you have a really kind of fundamental control of the center. This where you don't maintain the central pawn. e6 or c6, much more solid for black. He lost the center early and then there's nothing he could do. The central pawns just kill. I mean, like, Mamedyarov played the Marshall defense in a couple of games, but I mean, even he shouldn't really get away with it. Fundamentally, giving up the center, it's like a bad Scandinavian for black. It's even worse than the Scandinavian. The Scandinavian with knight f6 is bad enough, but this opening is worse. Because if you compare it, white has like 2 central pawns instead of 1. At least when you play e4, d5 with black, you're destroying one of white's central pawns. You know, white gets the center with a strong d4 pawn. But in this martial defense, like, white remains with like 2 strong central pawns. I mean, it's like a really, really good Grunfeld for white. So now we just have a million pieces for the queen. 2 rooks and a knight for the queen. Plus we're up a piece already. So 2 rooks and 2 minor pieces for the queen. It's fatal. Guys, I have half an hour left, so we can play Funny Animator, Mr. Slow, and Miras. Should have time. This is just an exchanging move. Trade down when you're up pieces. Basic stuff. Don't play for mate in a situation like this. Some people become too, at all levels, people become too obsessed with like playing for mate sometimes. That's Chess Psychology book by Krogius, the Soviet Grandmaster. He almost like illustrates like chess personality disorders. My favorite one is though players who are obsessed with playing for mate. It's the chessic personality disorder. I studied psychology in university, so it's appropriate. They should build a statue for Marshall. Funny for a Soviet Grandmaster to like Frank Marshall. I feel like Marshall had a kind of coffee house style, you know. Not always, but sometimes. You mean because of the Marshall Gambit in particular? Alright, let's just win with the pass pawn. Funny Animator Jim, how do you always show up last in my streams? It's weird. It's almost like he's just sort of stalking us. He shows up, he's always like there for the, maybe get in the last game. How do you do that? You must be timing it on purpose or something. You've had the stream open, okay. Where's the mate? After h6, no obvious mate. This is just so mundane. Now we got it. Alright, Mule Skinner, thanks for joining us. Tomorrow night we'll have our password protected tournament. Okay. So remember not to give the password to anyone that you don't specifically know. Do not give the password, okay? We had some sort of security breakdown last week. So a troll was able to get the secret password, but I blame myself because I made the password too easy to guess. So it's very possible that nobody was at fault but me. This week the password will be more difficult to guess, so hopefully that will not be a question. Blitz Rapid, yeah, Blitz casual tournament tomorrow night, 5+3, 5:30. My stream will begin. We start the tournament usually at 5:45 Eastern time. Just so you guys know. Yeah, it was a very weak Goichberg impression. Charles Hertan does it better. I would just need to brush up on it a little bit. I could probably do it. I would need to practice more. Alright. I'm not good at impressions. Not my strength. But at least it was good enough that you recognized who it was. Okay, Mr. Slowhand. Oh, Mr. Slowhand was the guy. Oh, he was the guy who beat me in the queen up position yesterday, right? I didn't even realize how serious his compensation was at all yesterday. Should we create a team of those who are approved to play in the tourneys? I thought about that, Mr. Coffee. I mean, it's reasonable, but we'd have to police that team really well. And like, how well can you control this team? The team. I have to understand this better. Set one up. Good. We can experimentally try for that. I have like Team Sparkle Horse, but the guy who created it like left lichess, so I have a team now I'm not the team leader of. I have to ask Spinal Tap Chess. Maybe he can help me fix it or something. Alright. Did you accept 2 challenges at once? Well, we won a really quick game. Maybe somebody dropped out. H4. Whoa. So, knight f6, e5, knight g4. I think d6 is okay here as well. If h5, bishop g4. He's not threatening h6 yet. He's like got an active game against me now. I don't see how that could be. Okay, there have been weird glitches with lichess before. I don't remember taking another challenge, did I? That didn't finish? Well, whatever. I mean, if someone else is playing me, like, right now, just, it's a casual game. Is that seriously happening? Resign. Give me the game. Always just resign. You'll abort and re-challenge. Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand Funny Energy, like, how you would... You weren't even up next, were you? That's kind of weird. I thought you were, like, next. You were like last in the list or something. That's weird. I don't understand how that happened. You were asking if there would even be time. H5. What the... Oh, it's like a Pierce, man. He's gonna sack the exchange here. Wang Yui style. Rook h5, pawn h5. What next, though? I can meet knight g5 with knight e5. That's probably critical. Actually, bishop g4 isn't gonna cut it. Some sort of Wang Yui trap. Knight g5, knight e5, queen h5, e6, f4, knight g6. I mean, castling, like knight g5 castles, queen takes h5 is dangerous. Maybe it's better than knight e5. Maybe just play e6. A little more rational here. And if knight e5 is only going to get attacked by f4, then let's not say we did. Because I can play maybe queen e7, bishop d7, and castle queenside at some point. KT the Joker says, cannot approve this move order by white. Well, it's pretty psychotic. Definitely good for bullet chess. I prefer queen e7. Keeps c7 protected, as well as f7. I was thinking about queen f6. You could play queen f6, but then how do you meet knight to b5? This sacrifice is approved by Wang Yu. How do you say Wang? How do you say that in Chinese anyway? Not even sure. Lots of good moves. Knight d4. This is kind of materialistic, but should be good enough. He sacked his queen yesterday against me. Totally maniacal. An unnecessary queen sacrifice. I just dismissed it out of hand and then I lost. But actually it was a lot closer than I thought. So I guess that's his style, to make speculative sacrifices. Another one in case here. I can play h6 though. Probably useful to kick the knight out. I can't pronounce Chinese names correctly. So h6, among other things, probably reasonable. If I take on b3, I open the a file for him, and his bishop's not hurting me here. It's really not that effective. Arsenal fan, let me get you a list. My favorite grandmaster is... I don't have a favorite grandmaster. I like so many different players. The Buick Lacrosse. I like Buick Regal from the 80s. Old school GM. Do not underestimate the danger. I'm really undecided here. Wow. I don't know what to do. Alright, we'll do it this way. If you say so. Arthur Bisguyer's system. Just play the first move you see. It's almost always right. Good philosophy for rapid chess, though, probably. Okay, what are we gonna do? It's so hard to decide all the time. He's constantly giving me choices. Nothing but problems with Animator Jim. He's like one of those guys who submits the games to my Thursday analysis stream without a study. Fondness for d4. Yes, I'm feeling that. Did you feel that too? I think it's like a fondness for, I would say it's like a fondness for being combative. I'm feeling here. Coming off of white. Reminds me of someone else. Can't really place it. He reminds me somehow stylistically of another one of our regular players on the stream. Obviously, like way more psycho than like Save a Dog, but the same sort of stubbornness. Jim is up to 1850 Blitz. Wait, what? I thought you were a lot higher than that. Funny amateur Jim. I don't even know like how to find you. Your name is too long to write. Castle move 30. Yeah, I thought he has to play Queen 8, Queen A5 there with some incursions at B6. Kakara Klaj. Now he doesn't have any threats. Famous last words. He's setting up some sort of Knight F5 piece sack. It actually probably works. Knight F5 here. If I take it, it looks very dangerous. Now I have Queen G4 there. Takes, pawn takes Queen G4, F3, Queen H4 check, and the complications. Maybe I'll be the one sacking my queen. Yeah, but this is Queen G4. Convenient. Attacking my D pawn. Always happy to what's his bullet blitz style? 16 and bullet, wow. He's pretty fast though. Good with the increment too. Most people suck at increment. No, this move was a little too risky though. Allowing that pawn to get to the 7th, man, dangerous. Now these bishops are looking pretty strong. He's fast. Nothing slow about this player, despite his 1600 bullet rating. Strange. You'd think he'd be a lot higher in bullet. It's kind of weird. It's like the opposite of slow. And like extremely resilient. All right, timely resignation. So what am I supposed to do now? I have to challenge who? Funny Man or Jim, are you even like, is that even your place? Who was here first? Can you guys clarify? Was it Funny Man or Jim or Dimitri? Just, does anybody know? Wasn't Miras here before Funny Animator Jim too? I don't even know like anymore. Because Funny Animator Jim has to go and like make this complicated request to like have me challenge him. Now I don't even know like where he was in the list. I really don't understand. He's playing another game. I mean, if you're, it's just like what? Dimitrilas, is he a subscriber, by the way? Because if Dimitri's a subscriber, I have to play him first. Yeah, I mean, you know, if you're playing another game, it's like whatever, dude. You're not that interested. All right. Yeah, it's too late now. So we're gonna play Dimitris. Too complicated, man. All right, Dimitris may not be here. If he's not here, then I will play someone else. Too complicated. These games are definitely too late. It's really just a question of the last couple people. I gotta go. It's like ADD. All right. I played a good game with Dimitri yesterday in the Samish Kings Indian. That was fun. I don't remember what happened. Oh, I blundered a piece, right? I just flat out lost a piece. I don't even understand how I lost a piece, actually. Bishop f6, knight d5. Bishop f6, e takes f6, and then you just play it like a Trompowsky. It's not that bad for black. So I'm going to forego that. Yeah, no, Dimitri beat me. But I don't understand. I didn't look at the game. I should take a look at it because I don't understand. It was weird. I like lost a piece, but I wasn't sure like why or how, because it didn't seem obvious why I was losing a piece. I just thought I was taking something, he was taking something, I was taking something, he was taking something, and like we went in order like that, and all of a sudden I looked and I was down a piece, and I didn't understand why. It just didn't seem to be sensible. Like I hadn't made an obvious mistake or something. Like it was in between moves. He took something, I took something, you know, like that, and it just like, oh, okay, now I'm down a piece. All right, we'll transpose to some kind of Petrosian system here, I guess. Let's try d5. I'm not sure this is the most decisive move, but anyway, we'll play. Fischer had a famous game in the black side of a Petrosian system where he played a6, I think, something weird like that, to stop knight b5. Or maybe he just like blundered queen d7 in the wrong position or something. I don't remember. He did some weird stuff. Back in the Fischer era, the theory wasn't that worked out. Now it becomes a Petrosian system. This is actually a really good... It'd be even better for white if I wasn't castled, actually. If I wasn't castled, I could play bishop e3 and just like attack him. I can still play bishop e3 or bishop h4. I don't even know which one is better. I didn't even have two pieces for the pawn. I was just down a piece. It was hopeless. I should have just resigned immediately. But I had a similar situation against Arsenal fan going at the same time, where the same thing happened. I blundered a piece. In Arsenal fan's case, there was a little bit of hope that he could mess it up, but in Dimitri's case, it was just like really nothing I could do. I just flat out lost the whole piece for 0. This is just a good, very good Petrosian system. F5 square. Where's Acerbate? He seems missing. Monday's not a good day for him. Okay. Knight here. What a bizarre... Okay, knight g8 is not unusual, but this is really fishy. No, the position was different. Like, I had, like, maybe an extra pawn against you, and it wasn't quite as horrible, hopeless as it was. It wasn't about the player, it was about the position. Somehow your position wasn't quite as... My position against you wasn't quite as hopeless as in the other. This is pretty awful for black. But my bishop on g3 is a problem. One of the biggest problems with Dimitri is that he plays too fast almost every single game. He just needs to take more time. I don't really want to allow h5 if I can help it. I'd like to play h4 myself, but I didn't want to play it last move. Because black gets in f5, he has some chances. That's why. Another interesting chance for him, which he didn't avail himself of, was like possibly like knight e4, knight e4, f5, where he'll win a piece back eventually. That's sometimes played. So I think at this point h4 starts to become a consideration. Does this weaken my king side though? Who is this more dangerous for, essentially? Probably black, I hope, but my queen side is not in the game yet. G takes. Sorry, HG? HG will like lose a piece, almost. Alright. H5. He has queen d7 there. Wow, that's a strong move. Alright, I need to think here. Knight e4, rook e4, h5, and then just like f3. Pawn takes pawn, f6. Bishop takes f6. Queen takes f3. You gotta time this perfectly. Maybe I even sack a pawn with... You could even sack a pawn with f6 in the right moment. Mr. Coffee, I want to call him Mr. Ponda. Mr. Coffee, man, thank you for your efforts. Create this new team to make our tournament great again. F3. Bad bishop versus bad bishop. So this is the idea. Is it good enough? Take. Takes, check. You know, I mean, I'm a little concerned. If I let him play that, though, if I let him play f6, like, there's no way in at all. So I have to do this. Guys, thanks everybody for supporting the stream. We had donations, Dragon BC, Warnaki. Warnaki, I never think I even got to thank you. 200 bits. Merle Dixon, before the stream even started, with 101. Guys, you can donate via PayPal or Streamlabs. I'd like to thank someone on Sound for donating $10 during the simul yesterday with a streaming donation. I'd like to thank Mr. Coffee. Just being our moderator is a big help. Okay, this is better for white, but it's not over. White has a positional advantage. It's a slightly safer king. I have like all 4 pieces coming in. That should be enough, I would think, to conquer Dimitrilas. Always take with check, right? Rook g4, f5 is pain. This is gonna save him. But now he can still stubbornly defend. Try to join the tournament tomorrow. Great. Sounds like a plan. Rook g4, f5. Still, we can't allow f5 under any circumstances here. I almost feel like queen f5 trading queens. My advantage there is... feels like it's dwindling. Rook f5 is kind of awkward. Still good though. We should be better here. He has this powerful passed pawn though. It is a protected passed pawn on e5. Thank you guys. I think we're going to wrap it up here. Last game. I can't. I got to go. 8 o'clock. Sorry for anybody who didn't get to play. Yeah, this is the only defense. Rook g4. Rook g4. My brain is fried. The light squares are a source for strife for black. That's how I roll in King's Indian. Korchnoi. Korchnoi's master plan always. When playing white side of the King's Indian, he was one of the greatest white side of the King's Indian players ever. Very unpleasant for black here. We're going to hit him with h5, h6. He's trying to break out, but it's too late. This actually gives him the acerbate rook. It looks like he's trying to undermine my center, but in reality, it's a clever way of going for that. There's another plan here, queen h6. Queen h6. CD, queen h6, rook a7, rook h5. Oh, that's evil. Not sure if this even works, but I think he made the wrong move there. He had the chance to move this rook and try to evacuate his king to f8. Now I have rook h5, which is the tricky point. Mr. Slowhand Grind, subscribe to tier 1. Now it's becoming questionable how black can protect against the coming storm here. Alright, now he's got a lot of pawns. Speaking of queen sacrifices. It's a little slow. Rook h7. Thanks for being a subscriber. It's all a little too slow. Deposit rook here. Yeah. Can't survive that. All right, man. Thanks everybody for the games today. It was fun. Arsenal fan. Best result for the day. Solid draw. Close to winning. Very good fight, man. Okay, guys. So tomorrow will be the password tournament. We're going to try using Mr. Coffee's team. We will try Mr. Coffee's team system. See if it works. Welcome everybody again. Thanks Black Bear Fox Ginger for subscribing as well. It looked painful. Jim with what? A 600-bit donation taking the lead for the week. Thanks everybody. Thank you, especially Jim. Jim is here almost every stream. And we will do it. So we're going to do the password. Sorry, the team tournament tomorrow at, that's a lot of T's, at 5:45-ish, stream starting at 5:30 tomorrow. Thanks, Mr. Coffee, helping to set it up, and we'll see how it goes. So Blitz Tournament Arena tomorrow, 5:30, 5:45 start, stream 5:30. See you guys there. Thanks, Mr. Coffee, for being a mod. Thanks, everybody, for your support. We will see you tomorrow night here on lichess and Twitch. And from the Panda and myself, bye-bye. See you later, guys. Bye-bye. You still think you're the real Panda, but he's in Budapest, man. You can't take his job. Later, guys.